Today we are holding a hearing on supporting our workforce and addressing systemic barriers to employment. I will have an opening statement followed by Senator Burr, and then we will introduce our witnesses. After the witnesses give their testimony, senators will each have 5 minutes for a round of questions. And while we were again unable to have this hearing fully open to the public or media for in-person attendance, live video with closed captioning is available on our committee website at help.senate.gov. If you are in need of any other accommodations, you can reach out to the committee or the Office of Congressional Accessibility Services. We continue to see a high number of new COVID cases, so we're having this hearing in a larger room where we can be socially distanced, limiting the number of people who are in the room and accommodating both some of our committee members and witnesses through video as we've done previously, and taking additional measures such as wearing masks. As always, I really do appreciate the work from the staff of the Sergeant at Arms, the Architect of the Capitol, and our committee clerk and his staff to make this hearing as safe as possible. Our nation has made great progress rebuilding our economy from the COVID-19 crisis. We've seen the highest economic growth in nearly 4 decades, added a record 6 million jobs last year, and saw the biggest annual improvement in employment since we started collecting data. But our work is not done, and that's especially clear when we look at how unequal this crisis and the recovery so far have been, and how that has compounded the inequities that existed before the pandemic. The unemployment rate for Black workers is still twice the rate for white workers, and Black and Latino workers were both nearly twice as likely as white workers to report losing income last month. Meanwhile, women have accounted for almost 2/3 of jobs lost during this pandemic. And we heard last week about the challenges people with disabilities face in the workplace and the need to make sure they can get competitive, integrated job opportunities, gain financial independence, and participate more fully in our communities. These inequities are holding our country back. We can't build back stronger when our economy leaves out people who are ready and willing to take on good jobs. We can't build back fairer when people who want to learn new skills and seek better jobs continue to face discrimination because of their race or their age or their income or their disability or because their primary language is not English. And we can't build an economy that works for working families when a single parent cannot afford childcare so they can go to a job or participate in a workforce development program, or when workers who can't afford to invest in new skills and get the jobs they want simply because they can't afford textbooks or transportation or tuition, or to even take time off from their current job to take a class at a local community college or pursue their higher education goals. And of course, these barriers don't just hold back working families, they hold back businesses who are looking for workers to take on good paying jobs, and then our economy as a whole. As we recover from this pandemic, we have to do so much better than simply returning to a normal that wasn't working for working families. If we want to rebuild an economy that works for everyone, we need to tear down the systemic barriers that stand between so many people and the opportunities they need to gain new skills, get better jobs, and support their families. That is why our nation's workforce development programs are so important. High-quality work-based learning, registered apprenticeships, and other workforce development programs can help people grow in their careers or develop new skills and start a new career. And when workforce development programs provide assistance with transportation and housing and childcare, help getting work gear like uniforms and tools, accommodations for people with disabilities, and other support to help people overcome barriers, they ensure that everyone can access the opportunities that will help them succeed. In a national survey of workforce development program administrators, nearly all of them said supportive services were important for program retention and completion. In fact, program administrators who reported they were able to meet these needs saw 4 out of 5 participants complete their programs, while those who couldn't meet these needs reported completion rates of less than 1 in 3. Those numbers make clear how transformative worker-centered practices and supports can be. And I've seen in my home state of Washington what happens when people have access to workforce development programs that understand and tackle the barriers between them and a high-quality job. When Ali lost his job during the pandemic, the African Community Housing and Development in South Seattle helped him get financial aid, enroll in classes at Highline Community College, get a part-time job at an airline, and set him out on a new high-quality career path in aviation. When Rosalinda, who's a single parent in Yakima, wanted to improve her credentials and increase her pay, the public workforce system helped her enroll in Yakima Valley College, work on her resume, writing and job interview skills, and then get a new, better paying job in teaching. She no longer worries, she says, about putting food on the table and was excited to be able to afford holiday gifts for her family this year. And across Washington State, the Aerospace Joint Apprenticeship Committee offers registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs, including to young people who've been impacted by the justice system. These programs give young people who often have no work history the opportunity and support to build the real-world experience and skills and industry connections they need to set out on new, high-quality careers. And not only have I heard so many other stories from Washington State about the importance of these programs, I've seen it firsthand. When I was growing up, my family was able to make it through very hard times because my mom was provided the support and opportunity to go back to school, get training, and ultimately get a higher paying job that allowed her and our family to succeed. That made a huge difference for all of us. So many families today have had the rug completely pulled out from under them by this pandemic, and I want to make sure they have the same opportunity that my mom did. So I look forward to hearing from our witnesses today about what we can do to continue tearing down barriers and building back our country stronger and fairer. And I'm proud to say we do have a bipartisan track record on workforce issues, like when we passed the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act in 2014, and when we reauthorized the Perkins Career and Technical Education Act in 2018. And I know this remains a priority for everyone on this committee. So I hope we can continue to make progress, both by strengthening programs that help workers overcome barriers, and also by addressing some of the systemic issues that create barriers in the first place, like racism, sexism, ageism, and other forms of discrimination, poverty, barriers to workers organizing and collective bargaining, inadequate accommodations for people with disabilities, and a lack of paid leave, childcare, and other policies that help make things a little easier on working families. With that, I will turn it over to Senator Burr for his opening remarks.